ready.
Let's try this again. We'll call to order. Kathy, would you read the roll, please?
Yes. Marcia Carrington.
Here.
Sean Daly. Robin Lloyd.
Here.
Chris Parthamore. Adam Ramsdale.
Here.
Brian Stanley.
Here.
Cable Steineman.
Here.
Jordan Sternberg.
Here.
Martha Weichel. Blake Harris.
Here.
Michelle Newell. Aaron Blair.
Here.
All right, everyone should have received the minutes. Do we have any motions regarding the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
A motion, the second, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, minutes are approved. Old business, we'll start with the two vinyl murals, I believe that are remaining.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to report that the two final vinyl murals have been applied. They are up. One is over on West Market. I'm blanking on that address too, something you probably know. Bonnie Gallery, 231. And then the final one that was looking for a home for a while is on 121 Jackson Street. So it's kind of facing the parking lot there and they're around the same area. So all six are up from the project from last year, and that project is complete.
Good news,
All right.
great job.
And I've received a bunch of compliments about them, and hardly anyone realizes that they are not paint. I had to repeat myself 3 times telling a lady a story the other day, and she's like, wait, the one, like the roller coaster one? Yeah. The mushroom one? Yeah. Those are all vinyl. She was like, wait, what about the one with the lake on the side of West Marine? Yes, that one. They're all the ones that we just put up. They are not painted. They are all vinyl.
Well, that's great. Good to see the program to completion like that. Hopefully we can do this again next year and the years coming, I guess. Let's move to new business. Aaron, artist-led grant proposal.
Thank you. We have received a proposal for an artist-led grant. Derek Brennan is seeking support for the creation of a new mural on the back of the building at 303 East Washington Street. The location is highly visible from Hancock Street and East Market Street. The mural would be the largest in the city to date. The structure is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, so a certificate of appropriateness would be required, and that is on the agenda for tomorrow's Landmarks Commission. And staff is recommending approval of that based on the fact that the building is already painted. It's not a significantly, architecturally significant building. The reason it's significant to Sandusky is because it's one of the few 8-unit apartment buildings in the city, one of the few multifamily buildings of that age. It's on the back of the building, so it's less important to the facade, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have more questions about that, please let me know. The proposed content will feature warbler birds in playful poses interacting with larger-than-life wildflowers native to our region. And the applicant states that the mural will bring joy to residents, attract visitors to the area, and become an identifying landmark for the neighborhood. The artist is originally from Sandusky and has completed numerous projects citywide. I'll flip through a few proposals there. The total cost for the mural, including labor and expenses, is $15,000. The proposal includes a $6,500 of funding to be supplied by the building owner, with a total request from this body of $8,500. However, we only have $7,500 left in our artist-led grant funding portion for this year's work plan. So the staff recommendation is that we support the grant proposal for the amount of $7,500, which would conclude our 2023 artist-led grant program portion of our public arts work plan. I'll show you a few slides here of the proposal. So here's a photo of Derek Brennan. The artist is here today. The owner of the building is also here today. And this concept, they submitted this proposal to include a mock-up of the mural you can see on the top right, featuring kind of larger-than-life warblers and wildflowers that are native to the area. And then the budget for the proposal itself. And there's some other examples of works completed. So the artist has been active in the city of Sandusky. I recognize the Live Green mural over on West Washington Street, the Derek Steiner mural in Sandusky, and then the number of murals interior to the Hography building. And then there's a little history of the building that's a little more applicable to landmarks than public arts, but you got this in your packet if you're interested in the history of the building, and I really appreciated they took some time to help with that storytelling as well and really recognize the history. And some public art projects in Cleveland or in Ohio as well, so you can really see the breadth of the scale of the artist and some previous works, which he is here today, so if you want to ask any questions about those, I would invite you to do that. And then one final thing I was going to mention is you'll see in this photo on the top right, the current trim color of the building itself is kind of a light blue-gray, and the landmarks application for tomorrow includes painting all the trim color, the associated trim color of the building, kind of a really dark brown, to provide a really good backdrop for the mural itself and update the paint of the whole building, so that landmarks will be asked to approve that trim color change as well. And all of those surfaces are currently painted, so no new historic surfaces will be painted. It's all repainting of existing surfaces.
Great, nice project. Anybody have any questions for Aaron, the applicant, or comments in general on the project?
I think it's a very well-done proposal. I'm not a mural person at all, as this group certainly knows, but I fully support this, and I'll make a motion to proceed with it as presented.
Great, we have a motion to proceed.
I second.
And second, do we have any further discussion, excuse me, on the project at hand?
I did prep the applicant and the owner that you probably want to hear from them. I'm sure if you let them off and they just are sitting in the audience, they might be fine with that too. But if I don't know if you want to ask them to tell their story or anything.
Yeah, I guess my only question personally that I have is regarding timeline. If this goes through with the landmark, when are we looking at starting and completing the project?
Yeah, so.
If you wouldn't mind, come up to the podium just because we post them on YouTube and then for the minutes and everything. Thank you.
So I would say that we could probably get this, it would take a month to probably paint just with rain days, here and there. So I'm thinking end of August, beginning of September, we'll be able to have it completed, so.
Any questions?
Well, I'm familiar with your work.
Yeah.
I love your work.
Thank you. Appreciate that, thank you.
Second man.
So, yeah, I think this would be awesome to see, especially since it's in my neighborhood, so I can
And mine too,
So you're
2 blocks away.
is the back of this building just brick right now and not painted?
It's painted. It's
So
painted
it is
brick.
painted brick?
Yeah, it's painted that color, that brownish color.
Okay, are you planning, when you're doing this for like long-term purposes,
Yeah.
what types of paint and stuff are you looking at? Are you looking at doing like enamel bases or
So
like?
I use a specific outdoor mural paint that's from California. It's called Nova Color, and it's for projects like this. And then I'll put a clear top coat on top of it that'll protect it. It's like an anti-graffiti paint that helps preserve it longer, helps with the fading, and obviously if somebody tries to graffiti it, so.
So then it would be able to come off.
Yeah, but yeah, I would make sure that there's no like flaking paint, and if there is any, I would scrape it off and, paint over it before I, make sure the surface underneath is good before putting the actual paint on it.
Okay, now with your outdoor murals, how long do you project that they last?
They can, 20 years. It's what I've read, haven't been along to see them, but I'm thinking that they'll be 20, sometimes 30 years, but in that range.
Okay. Sounds great to me, y'all.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I would ask we take a roll on the project.
Martha Carrington,
Yes.
Robin Lloyd,
Yes.
Adam Ramsdale,
Yes.
Brian Stanley,
Yes.
Cable Steineman,
Yes,
Jordan Sternberg,
Yes.
Great, project's approved. Look forward to seeing that go through Landmark and forward
This
to
is
the
a
finish.
good one.
Another item of new business, Aaron, we have our box proposal.
Yes, thank you. Let me switch my pages here. Lori Jamison, artist and designer, has applied for an art box project featuring the Lake Erie Monster with Day of the Dead inspired stylings entitled Day of Lem. She's seeking to complete an art box entitled Day of Lem. According to the artist's statement, the box is designed in a fun, whimsical way for all to enjoy. She said, "When I heard about the Lake Erie Monster, I knew I had to encourage the beloved Bessie to rise again and show her stuff." The top of the proposed art box also features images of the upcoming solar eclipse that will take place on April 8th, 2024. The piece is proposed to be completed with Day of the Dead stylings. Ms. Jamison spent time in the Southwest and is reverent to the style of artwork. The art form, she says, allows the living to remember and honor loved ones that have passed into their soul's next journey. The proposed piece also includes the 4 elements, earth, wind, water, and fire, and the artist hopes this piece will conjure Bessie to swim up from the murky depths and dazzle us once more. I've been working, and I have an update from this, with the Public Works to identify a location for this proposal. So unfortunately, what I realized in our art box grant proposal, or the program, we have the map of the city-owned boxes. There's about 60 of them, which I inventoried all of them today. And the vast majority of those are smaller, traffic control cabinets that are actually mounted onto poles. You'll notice those wherever there's a stoplight. There's most often one on a pole. We do have several that are the larger boxes, like Darlene Wood painted on the Little Italy one last year. So we've been kind of looking for a home for this. The one that Lori was expecting, we've found is actually owned by Buckeye Cable. She asked for one on Columbus Avenue. So the way that her design is laid out, it's for the shape and size of that box, which she did bring today to show that she had mocked it up full size. So she probably would shift her design a little bit to feature, the one we're looking at right now is on Hayes Avenue and Tyler Street. I do have permission from Public Works for this one. It's kind of facing the hospital on Tyler. I was actually going to recommend that if you would like to talk about the proposal itself, Lori's artwork, the theme, and if you approve that, then have me work with Lori and Public Works to figure out the exact location. And that's what I was going to recommend today. If you'd much rather not approve the art until you're sure on the location, we could bring it back next month once we're sure of that. Like I said, I've been working through this. There's kind of 60 of them to inventory, and people have been out on vacation and stuff. So you have, kind of a rough sketch of what she is proposing to do, and then we also have some examples of completed works by Lori. So she used to teach, she's a henna artist and has a full Instagram on her henna art, but I asked her to send me some painting examples. So you'll see on the top right here, she's holding up a paint and sip project where she used to teach classes and some examples of completed paintings.
You asked about approval of art and then figuring out location, but I feel like location kind of might be important. Like if we're closer to the lake, and I realize it's close to Firelands, it looks like there, but if it's got Lemmy, I wonder if like a box that's closer to the lake might be appropriate to consider.
Yeah, to your point, Jordan, there's one outside of our office on Shoreline, 222 West Shoreline Drive, right outside of Otaco, right? To the west.
It's not city.
It's not?
No.
All of
Shoot.
those, the ones that are scrappy that we originally designed this entire program to address because they're not beautiful, are all high voltage power boxes that are owned by Fresh Electric, or First Energy.
That one would have been great.
Yeah, they would have been great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are there any that are closer that are city owned? If you don't know now, it's okay. I'm just curious.
No, I'm trying to remember. Almost all of them are on Perkins Ave because they're all the larger, higher capacity, like mast arm lights. And the ones that are on all the older lights are pole mounted. There's one on Sycamore Line and just like a block away from the one we already have painted at where Sycamore Line and Milan Road meet, right before you kind of go over that weird overpass to Perkins. And then there's a bunch on Perkins. There are 2 or 3, like there's one at Hayes and Pierce that's a box, but it's a smaller box. I'm trying to remember. I almost brought you that presentation to show them all, but I was like, do we really want to flip through 60 slides of utility boxes? Maybe not.
I
It's
actually
not a
don't.
breaking point, it was more just.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any actual, like, those size boxes that are closer to the water.
Yeah, I don't mind the location being out there by the hospital, especially because we're trying to keep everything like right smack downtown. I think it brings a little bit of downtown and the waterfront, out there toward the hospital, and it is all still considered downtown. So I actually like that location, and, it's a decent sized box and easier to work with than something smaller.
Any other questions or comments for Aaron or the artist?
I guess the intention of the sun and moon is to be on the top side and to be visible. So
Yes.
What's the height of the box from ground level so that would actually be visible?
That's a great question. I think you kind of peek over it. I think they're like 3.5, 4 feet. I know that Lori went out and looked at the one that she was looking at, if you want to have her answer that question.
I mean,
we
it's
see the
just kind
box
of
again?
it's an intended part of the art. I would hope that the majority of people could see it. That looks, for a box that size, about as low as you're going to get.
Yeah, it looks about shoulder height to me if I'm gathering that.
But you'd also be able to see that from the parking garage of the hospital, correct? Because I'm looking at the cars right here in the background, so it actually would be a little
In the
bit
far
more.
corner.
Yeah.
The
it
parking
would-
garage is on the other corner, so it might be a little further away.
is
Yeah,
it
the parking garage is like
this
behind
way?
us.
Okay,
Yeah, the hospital's
That'd be
kind of behind
north,
us because
yeah.
there's Jimmy John's.
That would be an
So you're actually
unintentional
driving
benefit.
outside of town.
outside of it.
Yeah, so the primary, really the best face of this one would be facing north on Tyler, because the other side on Hayes, if you want to see it, I can get on Google Maps, has like the grates and stuff. So I would assume when she had adjusted her design, the primary face of it would be this one, and then the other side would probably be more like the tail or something, because it would be harder to pull off on the other side.
So what do we think? Do we want to approve as is without knowing the exact location, or do we want to wait until we have an updated location with the art? That's the real question here.
And you could approve with this location if it changes, we come back, or, I mean, it's really to the commissioners for your, your preference. I'm just going to get on here so you can see the whole scene. Maps.
I motion to approve.
With that location,
I like that location, but if it had to change, it wouldn't bother me as long as it's, within a proximity of not too far away.
yeah, I would second that with that location.
So we have a motion to approve the artwork at the Firelands location, Tyler and Hayes. And we have a second.
In a second.
So do we have any further questions or comments on the artwork, on the site? Anything for the artist, anything for Aaron?
Do we want to give the artist a minute to speak at all, or?
Yeah, if the artist would like to approach and say a few words about your idea
Hi.
and the project.
Hi, thank you for having me today. I was so thrilled when this came across my desk about having an art box project like this, and moving here a couple years ago and learning about the Lake Erie Monster just inspired me to do something about Bessie. And being from the Southwest, living there for quite some time, I thought that it would be fun to expand a little bit of that style of design around the U.S. And been doing art for a very long time. So I appreciate your thoughts.
Well, thank you for coming out here. So-
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate the application. If there are no other questions or comments, we will do a roll call vote.
And who made that motion, please?
It was,
Marcia.
yeah,
Marcia Carrington?
Yes.
Robin Lloyd?
Yes.
Adam Ramsdale?
Yes.
Brian Stanley?
yes.
Cable Steineman?
Yes.
Jordan Sternberg?
Yes.
Looks like that's all we have for new business. Anybody have anything else they'd like to address or we can get an adjournment.
I had one more update. So I've received 2 calls just this week of interest, thank you, in the artist-led grant program. So I think our gift to the farmers market is getting noticed and people are excited about it. One of them was for another event, which I, encouraged to maybe bring that to us next year, since I knew we had one already in the pipeline for today. And another one was for another mural, and I'm not sure if they might actually proceed with their project without any extra funding from the Arts Commission this year, because they're kind of ready. Or I told them, bring it to us right at the beginning of the year. And I expect that we'll have that program again. So I just wanted to let y'all know that our work is getting noticed and people are excited about it.
Great, keep
No
it
comment.
coming.
Good news.
That's all I got.
Any other motions?
Motion to adjourn?
Second? We're adjourned.